Hey everyone, welcome. Are you ready? I know I'm ready. Listen, we're going to have some fun today. I know it's just a couple of minutes before we get started. I'm going to be looking at the clock. I'm going to be looking at my notes over here. Actually, let me put my notes over here. And I'm excited about this. Why? Because I get to spend some time with you. And it's important for me because I want to help you have more of what you want. Now, you may be hearing some bings in the background. That's folks either hitting me on Facebook going, I lost the link. We're going to spend the next 45 minutes or so together covering some topics that are big topics for folks as it relates to their business. Now, I help people in all kinds of business, and I'll get into that in just a minute when we start at the top of the hour. So again, I want to thank everyone. If you do have a Q&A, if you're not part of Google+, if you don't have a Google+ page, if you want to ask some questions, you need to be a part of that. So, or if you want, until you get that established, I'll be happy to. You can go on Facebook, find me if we're not friends already, and you can send me a question in Facebook, and I'll answer it from there. So, we've got about another minute before we get started, and so send this link out to your friends. Okay, send it out to your team members, send it out to whomever, because this is going to be about business. Not just network marketing. It's going to be about business in any kind of business. See, because we're in the people business. We're in the business that allows people to have a connection and get rewarded for that connection. There's a lot of times that we'll have relationships that we don't receive any monetary income, but we receive a lot of heartfelt income. So if you want to get great at having success, getting better at people is probably going to be a good thing. So we're going to be talking about that. All right, here we are, 9 o'clock. Top of the hour, I want to welcome everyone. I'm looking at the number of viewers, and it keeps going up and up and up. I'm so excited about this. Listen, welcome to this Mental Profits. Your thoughts create your income. That's so important. I know it sounds neat. It's maybe a neat tagline, but I got to tell you, Mental Profits, your thoughts create your income. That's so very important to understand, especially for the business that we're in, the business that I'm going to be talking about primarily today, network marketing. So we're going to get started here. My name is Sean G. Murphy. For those of you that I haven't had the chance to meet, I want to welcome you to this event. And you'll be able to find me. You can Google me. You'll see some of the things that I've done. So let me ask the question, why are we here today? See, if you understand while you're building your business, if you always ask that question, why are you here today? It really helps you get focused. It really, really helps you get focused. So what I want to do is I'm going to share with you why I'm here today and what's going to happen. So I'm here today because I want to make a difference. I want to make a difference in my family's life. And if I can, hopefully help you make a difference in yours, because I can't make a difference in your life. I can't. I can only make a difference in mine. That's all I can do. Now, in making a difference in my life, something that can happen is helping you maybe make a difference in yours. So, what is your why? What's your why? Do you know that? If somebody were to ask you that today, why are you doing this business? Why'd you get on that training call? Why'd you watch that video? Do you know why? I know it seems like a lot of effort and a lot of work, but if you know your why, it's going to be a lot easier when you're prospecting, when you're asking somebody to really get their why, because it's to join us in business, whatever business that is, whatever company that is, to join you in business isn't a hard decision. The hard decision is, why are they going to do it? So no matter whether we're talking about local business, international, retention, team building, you name it, it all comes down to a why. It comes down to your story. So do you know your story? If somebody says, so tell me about you, do you have a story? Because if you don't, somebody else does. If you don't have a story in place, somebody else will create one for you. So it's so important for you to have your story. So what's my story? My story is to be a better dad, better husband. Well, what does that mean? It means a lot to me. It means that every day I work to be a better dad for my son Mason and a better husband for my bride Michelle. What's your story? See, when you know it at that fundamental level, when you understand it at that very basic foundation, you're going to be able to attract more people. Right? We all watch things like The Secret and Millionaire Mindset and all of these things to create attraction. To be that kind of person people want to be around. Well, people want to be around people who can help them, who can bring them value, who can lead them to the next level. That's why people want to be around you. Think of your friends. They want to be around you because there's things that you do so well that they can't do half as well. There's things that you do that make them enjoy life. Well, that's what your prospects want too. They want to be around somebody that can help them enjoy life. That's really what it comes down to. So, on the little video that I put out yesterday, the little teaser video for this event, one of the first slides was, if you want to control your income, right? Who wants to control your income? If you want to control your income, you have to control your income. What does that mean, Sean? Well, if you want to control your income, you have to control your income, meaning the stuff that's coming into your life. Let's talk about that for a second, because again, the foundation of building a success requires you to be success. I didn't say successful. It requires you to be success. So what is success? Well, it's what you define it as. But I can promise you this. Success for anyone watching this, any of the viewers that are on, anyone watching this, success is what you determine it to be. It's the things that come into your life that allow you to grow. That's what success is. It's the ability to get better, not bitter. It's the ability to see more and not see less. Now, what does success mean to you? So that would be another thing to write down to get clear, because everyone is searching for success. Everyone is searching for greatness. Everyone is moving towards their goals. And if it was so simple that everyone was moving towards their goals, why haven't we all found it yet? Does that make sense? So if we're still looking for our goals, maybe we need to use something else, look somewhere else, look some way different at our goals. That's going to be, I know that's a little bit changing. So when you have this idea, this desire, and you haven't reached it yet, you haven't achieved it yet, and if you're still looking for it, is it time maybe to look at it a little bit different way? Sometimes success is leaving something behind. Sometimes success is giving up the things you don't want. But sometimes we hold on to them for so long, we think, you know what? I'm afraid to let that go. I'm afraid to put that aside. Well, maybe it's time to put something aside. All right? And that's what this training is going to do. It's going to kind of give you some ways, some ideas, some thoughts of what needs to be done differently. Now, I can't teach you how to do it. I can't tell you how to do it. I can only share with you how I've done it. And then you can figure out what makes sense for you. Because there's a couple of ways to teach. There's a couple of ways to train. One is to say, here's how to do it. The other is to listen to what maybe you need, you want, share with you some ideas, and help you implement, help you get started with something. So the key to foundation, my perception, there's a whole bunch of great folks that are out there that are teaching and training and are much better at this than I am. I'm only good at a couple of things. I'm not good at everything. I'm only good at a handful of things. But those things I've gotten good at, I've gotten pretty darn good at. So here's the thought right now that we're going to go through the rest of this workshop. If you want to control your income, the money coming into your home, into your pocket, into your bank account, you have to control your income. You have to control those things that can affect your income. Yeah, but Sean, they're outside of me. No, it happens up here. Mental profits. Your thoughts create your income. So with that happening, let's go ahead and talk about the first topic that we talked about. Where's my notes? Now, there's the first part. A lot of times we go prospecting and we don't have any notes available. Now, how many times do you think I've talked about what we're about to talk about? More than once, probably a couple dozen times, more than probably 100 times. But I still have notes. The reason I have notes is because I don't want to miss something. So the first thing that somebody asked me about is, well, how do I build locally? Well, first of all, you have to get good at inviting. You have to get good at opening up the conversation. To build anywhere in the world, to build your business, you have to do one thing. That's build relationships. So you cannot have anyone join you in business if you haven't developed a relationship with them. Now here's the challenge. When they do join you in business, where is that relationship strongest? What do you mean? Where is that relationship strongest? What I mean by that is, did they join for the income? Is that where the relationship is? Because if the relationship is for the income, it probably doesn't do a whole lot of good talking about ingredients in a product. Yeah, but isn't that part of it? It's part of it, but until the relationship grows to somebody wanting to understand that, the story that they have in their own mind, it might not benefit them to learn about those things. Because right now, wherever the relationship is strong enough, so where is the relationship strong enough? Is it between them and the company? Did they like the management team? Did they like customer service? Is the relationship between you and them? See, all too often we think the relationship that we build with when we sponsor someone is between them and us. If it was, then if they decided to quit, now I don't know if you've ever had anyone leave your business. I know it's probably just unique to me when in my team. So if somebody leaves your business, did they leave because of you? Ooh, I don't know. This is why you have to understand that foundational level, like right down here at the bottom. Because if you want to get to the top, you still have to have that strong foundation. So where's the relationship? Is it between the business, the company, the check, the product, the ingredients, the results? That's a key. See, we talk all about that. We talk about the results. We talk about the dreams people want, the income people want, the better health people want, the weight loss people want. But where is the relationship? Because what happens, let me ask you this, if you have a relationship, if you have a friendship, and that friendship starts to not be friendly, and it doesn't bring you value, what do you wind up doing with that friendship? You wind up dissolving it, leaving it behind. That's a reason why sometimes people leave this industry, or they maybe leave your business, they leave your company. You need to understand where that relationship is. So if you want to build local, the key is getting good at inviting. So how do you invite people to join you in business? You have to invite people to live their dreams. Wait a minute, Sean. Now, folks, let me be very clear. Your team has a system. Your company has a system. My goal here is to enhance that, or to give you some ideas, not to change it. I'm not here trying to tell you to stop doing what you're doing, because guess what? It's working for your company. It's working for your team. I bet if you just get better at you'll probably have some better success with the system that your team has. So my concepts here, my ideas here, are things that I've used in the past, things that I've shared with people. So getting good at inviting. What are you inviting people to do? Are you inviting people to join you in business? Well, who wants to open up a new business? People are probably already stressed out. People are probably already have enough on their plate. I don't have time for that. Have you ever heard that one? I don't have time for that. I love that one. Listen carefully. Here's what I've done. Here's what I've shared. When people say I don't have time for that, I ask them, time for what? What do you mean? What do you think I'm asking you to do? Well, you're wanting me to do what you do. No, I'm not asking you to do what I do. I'm asking you to do the things that need to get done to achieve your goal. Are you willing to work to get your goal? Are you willing to work to find your success? See, if we don't know what that is when we're prospecting, when we're asking people why they would make any changes, it comes back to the story they're telling themselves. What's the story they're telling themselves? I'm too tired, I got no money, I got no time, I don't have any experience in business, I don't know how to build a network marketing company, I don't know how to prospect, I don't know. So when you realize that the story that they are telling, wow, there must have been a team that just joined. And that number just went whoop, right through the roof. So here's the point. When you are asking someone to join you in business, when you're asking someone to join you in business, what are you asking them to do? You're asking them to give up something. Because wasn't their 24 hours already filled? Wasn't their 24 hours already completely filled up before you showed up and started talking to them? The answer to that's yes. So in order for them to sit down and get enrolled, listen to the business opportunity presentation, to go to a hotel meeting, to prospect other people, to use the product. See, sometimes people don't even have time to use the products when you give it to them for free. Has anyone ever given some products to somebody? I don't have it there. If you've had somebody give you some products, or you've given some products to some folks and they didn't use it, do you know why they didn't use it? No, I'm asking you, do you know why they didn't use it? What's the biggest thing? Oh, I forgot. I don't have time. Not really. The challenge is that they didn't see the value. See, when you get something for free yourself, what's the value behind it? Well, it's the value you, as the receiver, give to it. It's the value you, as the receiver, give to it. So what's the value your potential prospect has when you give them free product? Well, you have to create the value. Now, when we're talking about just giving some product, but you also have to create the value for the business, and this works at all levels. You have to create the value in the conversation, the story. You have to build the story so they can tell it in their own mind about why they're going to do something. So if you were to give somebody product, what's the story you would help them with making sure they use the product? If you're going to invite them to a hotel meeting, what's the story they're going to tell themselves so they show up? If you want to build internationally, what's the story that prospect is going to have to build an international business? See, folks, it all comes down to the story. Because when you leave them, when you're no longer there with them, what's going to show up in their head? All of the negative thoughts or the doubts, the fears, the I can'ts, or somebody else talk them out of it, right? So, locally. Listen, I'm looking to find some people to help me build because I've been asked by the company to go build internationally. So you need to learn how to use some language. So what I just did there is I shared, I'm looking for some leaders locally because my company is expanding and I'm going to be building an international business and I need some people to help me build my business locally. Most people want to hear about what the potential is. What's the future going to hold? What's next coming? So if you're looking to build locally, build some great relationships because those are the people that will be there to help you grow your business when you're not there, if your desire is to go build international. because to build international, sometimes you actually have to be there. So locally, use the local team. There's a lot of folks that when I was building organizations, they liked me, but they fell in love with someone else. They really liked someone else on the team. They had this relationship. A lot of times there were teachers. I was never a teacher, so I can't talk about creating lesson plans or this, that, or the other. And so I found other teachers in my organization that they could connect with. See, to build your business, you're creating a community. It's called the community of you. You're kind of the mayor of your business. We talk about it as the president. You're your own CEO. Well, most people don't want to be a CEO. They don't want to have to work that hard. So if you're the activities director for your organization, you create the environments, the groups, the people who get to know each other. That's the key. So understanding that when you're building locally, you're going to be a community. People are going to be meeting one another, spending time with one another. They're going to need recognition. That's a huge key. Most people forget how important recognition is. Now, recognition is important across the entire spectrum of your business, but right now it's important to have that conversation with people locally and to recognize them, because you're all in the same community. And when I say local, I'm talking 100 miles from your location, right? Because that's usually enough time to go someplace and come back in the same day. So local meetings, in-home meetings. So how do you use in-home meetings? Have you ever done an in-home meeting? If you really want to create the glue for your organization, doing meetings in-home are incredible. Now, it might make sense. There's a lot of companies, and I know especially in Latin America, where it's very easy to do hotel meetings. So how do you invite people to a hotel meeting? So how do you invite people to any kind of event locally? It's one thing to set it on a calendar and say, hey, listen, time is, we're going to have a meeting at 9 o'clock or 7 o'clock on Tuesday. Monday night at 7 o'clock, join me at the Lima Hotel. Well, that's great. That's easy to set an appointment. But what you have to ask somebody, what I've learned is, and what was taught to me, is how long is that meeting going to be? Say it's an hour and a half. Say it's 2 hours. I would ask somebody, listen, we're going to start around 7 o'clock, be finished at 9. At 9 o'clock, how are you, this is key, how are you going to know it was worth your while? What did I just ask them? I asked them, tell me what's important to you, so that if you invest your time at 9 o'clock, when it's over, you go, you know what, I'm glad I did. Have you ever asked someone that question? Listen, if we're gonna go to dinner, what kind of meal do you want? Don't we do that all the time? If we're gonna go on a trip, do we go by plane, car, boat, train? You think of the vehicle to get you to your destination. Well, see, when you're having somebody come to an event, it doesn't matter whether it's a conference call, whether it's a hotel meeting, whether it's, no matter what it is, a home meeting, you have to find out where the destination is they want to be after the event. Because if you can get them to the event afterwards, if you can get them to that location, then you need to make sure you get them there with the right vehicle. Hold on just a second. So if you ask them, listen, at the end of this event, what are going to be 2 or 3 things that are important for you to have heard, for you to have seen, for you to have been a part of, so you can say at 9 o'clock, you know what, I'm glad I came. And the challenge is, hold on one more second. I've just got folks who are trying to get on this. I love technology. So, asking them what it is they want to get out of this event. Because if you can help them find what they're looking for, because here's the reality. If they haven't seen what they're about to see, is that all new information? And are they going to try to absorb everything out of that bit of information? The answer to that is yes. So if they haven't seen what they're about to see, and if they haven't heard of your company, Amway, Nu Skin, Fusion, BeHip, Herbalife, if they haven't heard of that information, the chances are they're going to try to, they're looking too many places for the answer. But if you ask them, what are 2 or 3 things that are important for you to hear, to see, to learn, isn't it a lot easier to guide them through that process? Kind of like a salesperson at the store. You go in, they say, can I help you find something? And you say, I'm looking for X. And they go, oh, that's over here. And they take you over there and you go, okay, I found it. Now, have you ever walked into a store and said, I'm in a hurry, I need to find this, this, and this? And they took you to find this, this, and this, and you were happy? Same thing happens when somebody comes to an event. First, they think, you know what? This isn't for me. Why? Because their ego shows up and says, I don't even know what I know. I don't even know what this is. I don't even know why I said yes. So all that being said, you need to make sure you know what they're looking for. So locally, ask them their why. Ask them what it is they want to get out of that. So now, let's take it to the next level. So now you've got a local group, and you want to build international. So how do you build internationally? Well, you build internationally through team building. What? Yeah, as you build your team, because everyone knows someone that lives outside of their city. And that just expands, so it's where you're at, the city, the state, the country, and it expands outside of that. So the best way to build internationally is to build to use team building. So building your team. Well, what are you looking for? Well, the key is in building your organization is to do your best to always sponsor up. I know that's it. We've heard about that time and time again, but a lot of us are fearful of sponsoring up. Well, if you want to build internationally, you're going to sponsor up, right? Because if you're somebody that is looking to grow your business and you're wondering how to do it internationally, it means that you might not be a big international traveler. So you want to find somebody that does a lot of traveling or has a lot of contacts, but there has to be this connection. How do you find out this information? How do you find out if somebody travels a lot or if they have international connections? It's by understanding their story. Folks, I can't tell you how important it is to always come back to that story. What is the story? What's their story? So, some ideas on international. One, make sure you find somebody that understands the culture. Now, if you're building in your market, if you're going from US to Canada, there's not a big difference in culture. Same language, same kind of prospects, same kind of problems, same kind of challenges. But if you're going from US to Slovenia, or if you're going from Lima to Asia, there's some big challenges. They do things differently. So you need to understand the culture. What does culture translate to? Translates to the story. You need to understand their story. So you want to build international. One, look for leaders. Don't look for people who are trying to test out the product. Don't look for people who are trying to test out the compensation plan or who are trying to challenge you on, does this thing work? Is this a pyramid thing? Folks, you should be at a level by now with your understanding. If you should be at a level now with your business that you know you're in a solid business, you know you're in a loving, caring kind of business, that what you do for people brings value. Now, are there some folks who have done some bad things in every industry? The answer to that's yes. But that doesn't matter. My question is to you. Are you going to do bad things? And if you're not, then this is a good business. This is a solid business. It's one of the most ethical businesses out there. Why? Because we don't receive any income unless product moves. Unless we're helping people, we don't receive an income. Now we can still help people and not get any money because they haven't moved any product. So the key to helping somebody understand internationally is that there are investments. This is a business. They're going to be responsible for learning how to help people, how to do meetings, how to hold events. But guess what? We've got tools just like this Hangout or Skype or any of these kind of new technologies in the last 5 years that allow us to be there. I've got people, I'm looking at the numbers, I'm just guessing based on the number of people I see here. There's people from Latin America, there's people from Europe, there's people from across the United States, and there's a couple of people from Asia, I know. So here we are in, I don't know, 8, 10, 15 different countries on this webinar. You need to learn, if you're going to be expanding internationally, how to leverage technology. And when you understand that, things get a lot easier. Well, yeah, but what do I do? They have a lot of questions. You need to find people who don't have a lot of questions. What do you mean? You need to find people who are serious about building their business. You need to find people who are busy. I put that down here on my notes. When you're looking, when I was looking for people internationally, I looked for people who were busy. They already had a business. They already had 5, 6, 7 things going on at once. They were already too busy. Why do I look for people that are busy? Because they understand how to compress time. They understand how to get things done. Okay? So understanding that when you're building internationally, the key is to find people who are busy, to find people who are ready, to find people who are looking to grow. Because I can promise you, any entrepreneur who got started, they found a need and they decided to fill it. Now, they didn't know what the fill it was. They didn't know what the thing was they were going to do. They found a problem and they said that needs to be fixed. And when they went to go fix that is how they built their business. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So here's what I'm talking about internationally. Find people. You have to grow yourself. If you're going to build internationally, you have to become international. You have to be ready to do what's necessary. You have to be ready to say no to someone. Why would I say no to someone? You'd say no to someone because they don't fit your model. Identify what is the story. It comes back to the story. What's the story you want internationally? Identify the person. Look for the person that you want before you see them. So what are the criteria for somebody to build with you? They need to be. Now I left those blank because you have to fill those in. They have to be entrepreneurial. They have to have good energy. They have to have the ability to figure things out. These are the things that I look for. And if somebody doesn't have that, it's going to be hard to build internationally. Now, there's a big difference between building internationally and building a customer base. Not sure what's happening here, but we're on here. So, all right, so let's continue. So building internationally, you got to find the folks who are ready, willing, and able. Well, okay, so now I found that. What do? You have to introduce them to the team. Well, I don't have a team. Well, you need to create your team. Your team is either somebody from the company, it's either your upline, platinum, gold, diamond, double diamond, grand poobah, whoever it is, whatever your ranks are, you need to, if you find somebody that meets the criteria you're looking for, there has to be a team for them to feel a part of. So that's upline, support, cross-line. Could be somebody else that's building in that country. Building international requires you to become a little bit more strict, a little bit stronger, a little bit more forceful in your negotiations, in your conversations with people, because they're going to be off on their own. You're going to be there to support them through a technology like this, but they really have to be the ones that when they hit the ground, they're going to hit the ground running. So there's a little bit more on international, but that's a whole nother training by itself. Let's talk about retention. How do you keep people on your team? Comes back to the story. Why do they leave? Where was the relationship? Because if they were in a relationship and they decided to leave that relationship, why did they leave? Because it wasn't working for them. It's that simple. It wasn't working for them. So do you know where the relationship is they have? Is it with the products? Is it with the customer service? Is it with management? Is it with you? Is it with someone on your team? Where is the relationship strongest so that you can do two things? One, grow it, and two, expand it. That's how you build retention. Well, I have people that get on auto ship and then they get off. Well, there is no magic wand to go click and they stay on auto ship. The magic is knowing where that relationship is. Where's the story? See, folks, if you were to ask the people that I've worked with, the companies I've worked with, the CEOs, the presidents of companies, the presidents of countries, and they say, what does Sean do best? They would share with you, I believe, and I've asked them this, he really helps us get our story clear. So where's the story that relates around your relationships? Where's your relationship with the company? Is it with the people? Is it with the product? Is it with the results? Because sometimes we'll take products we don't like, but we like the results. Think of medication. Most people don't want to be on medication. Most people don't want to take an aspirin for a headache, but they take the aspirin to get rid of the headache. That's the story. I'm taking this because I know it's going to it's going to make me feel better. Folks, I can't explain it more simply than it's the story. People leave. If you want to know, if you want to double your retention, ask everyone why they joined so that you can, in your own mind, help build that why. Oh, well, I'm afraid to ask them why they joined because they may want to quit. Well, then do you have a solid business? Tell me. If I was going to go buy your business, if I was going to go buy your business right now, would I have a solid business I'm buying? Folks, this is a leadership training. This isn't a, hey, listen, I want to get to know you. This is a leadership. If you're on this, it's because you've seen me on Facebook, you followed my posts. This is a leadership kind of conversation we're having right now. If I were to go buy your business, would I feel comfortable it's a solid business? If it's not, then who has to make it a solid business? You do. So find out why people are buying. I can tell you this, here's how you want to create retention. If you learn this will help you. If you can get people to buy at least 4 months, they start today. So August, September, October, November, December, if you can get them to buy 4 months in a row, you have a 90% chance they're going to stay on for the next year. Why? Because we had to overcome their preoccupation. We had to overcome their hesitancy. We had to break patterns. Remember, last month nobody was buying your product. Your prospect wasn't buying your product. This month they're excited about buying the product. Next month they're maybe excited about buying the product if they don't know the story. They don't know the reason. They don't know the why they're buying the product. Boy, if you can help them buy that product, if you can help them feel good about making that purchase, if you can help them see the value in getting that next month's order, it's going to make it a lot easier for month 3 and then month 4. Once you get them through month 4, science has proven, studies have shown, 4 months is key to get them buying the next 8 months. So that's retention. Get them to at least buy for 4 months. Figure out, work hard with them. Keep them plugged in, tuned in, turned on to help them through the process. So there's retention. Team building. Recognition. Recognition is important in team building. I can't tell you how important it is to thank someone. Here's another thing for retention. Have you thanked anyone for placing their monthly order? Have you thanked them for placing their order? Well, that's what they're supposed to do. That's what they're supposed to do, but don't you like to get thanked for things you do anyways or things you're supposed to do? Thank them for their order. Today, no matter when you're watching this video, if you're watching it live today, call up somebody on your team and thank them for being on your team. Thank them. Say, listen, you know what? Maybe I haven't said it, but I really just, all I wanted to do was just say thank you for being a part of my team, and I'm just happy to be working with you. Okay? And then that's it. That's it. Don't say anything else. Don't ask them about, did they talk to 3 people today, or have they prospected someone, have they invited someone to the next event. Just say thank you and hang up and let it go. You want to build team, you want to build recognition, boy, thank people for being a part of your organization. So that's part of team building. Teach, what are the 3 things, if I were to ask you right now to send in the chat box, to send me on Facebook, to send me an email, what are the 3 things that are unique to your team? What are they? What are the 3 things that are unique to your team? What are the 3 things unique to you, to everyone you've sponsored? What are the 3 things that you've done to make them feel special, make it easier? I don't know, whatever it is. Do you always thank people a certain way? Do you hug people? Do you have a little pin that you wear that's unique? Do you have a little saying that's unique for your team? Do you have your team name? See, if you can create 3 things, I don't care if it's 1 thing. Start with 1 thing that's unique to you, and I don't care if you only have 2 people or 1 person. What's that commitment? What's that uniqueness? What's that story? There's that word again. What's that story between you and your team? Because if you don't have the story, guess what? If someone else comes along, have you ever had anyone leave your business to go into another business? Have you ever had anyone leave your team to go to another company? Have you ever had anyone leave your team and not do anything else ever again? I don't know if you've had it happen. I've had it happen to me in 14 years. What I realized was I didn't know the story. I didn't know the reason. I didn't know where the relationship was. And it didn't matter whether I was building locally, internationally, team building, retention. You have to know the story. It all comes down to that. Inviting. Well, we kind of touched on inviting throughout this process. Here's some ideas that I've used, and I don't know if it works for you. So take what I'm sharing with you and put it into your own words. Put it into your own you. So when I was looking for people, when I was prospecting, remember that I talked about international? I'm looking for the people that are going to fit a certain mold. So you have to identify what it is you're looking for. Are you looking for people who are tall, people who are short, folks, it all matters. Now, if you're not looking for anything that specific, then you need to be looking, do they smile when they're talking to people? Because if I'm talking to somebody that's talking like this, and then I get up front of them, they go, hi, how are you? I want to see who they are when they're not with me. Because when they're building their business, aren't they not with me? They're not with me. So all that being said, listen. So I have some criteria when I look for people. First of all, they got to be smiling. Boy, they just have to love life. And it doesn't matter where they're at, because the more stressful the situation, the easier it is for me to prospect. What do you mean by that? When I see this high energy, high tension kind of environment, whether that's a customer service or somebody at an airplane ticket counter or somebody dealing with a client, I'm looking for how do they handle themselves in that stressful situation. Because once that's over, once that contention is over, that confrontation is over, I'll walk up to that person and I'll ask them, man, where did you learn the skills to deal with that? And it kind of shocks them because they don't think they learned them. It's just something they do. Think about you. The things that you do so well, did you learn them, or is it just something you do? Well, you did learn them. You just got better at them over time. So I'm asking people, listen, does the company pay you for your smiles, or is that just something extra they get? Where do you find the resources to maintain your level of energy? What makes you happy? These are the prospecting questions I ask. Not, hey, listen, do you make enough money? So when I'm looking to invite somebody, I'm looking to fit my story. Because I'm not going to, it's hard for me to sponsor somebody that I can't work with, that I can't deal with, that I don't understand. So I'm always, now I have people on in my team and in my organization, throughout the organizations when I was building, that are totally opposites of me. Well, that's great. Why? Because somebody else sponsored them, but they're part of our organization. I can leverage them when I'm talking to somebody. So if I find somebody that's not like me, I can help them get started, but I can always introduce them to someone else. So inviting. So someone says, you know what, man, I'd like to be on a conference call, or I'd like to be at a hotel meeting. Now, have you ever had anyone not show up at a meeting? Or is that just me? Remember, I went back to the story. And so somebody says, yeah, I'll be there at 7 o'clock. I'll see you in Lima at the Hotel Westin at 7 o'clock. I'd say, great. Tell me why you're coming. And you can kind of see them like take a step back. What do you mean, why am I coming? I'm coming to your event. I know you're coming to the event, but why are you coming to the event? What's 3 things you'd like from that event so that at 9 o'clock it makes sense for you? You'll either know to go to the next step, or that was 2 hours you'll never get back. Folks, you need to help people with their story when you're inviting. They need to know why they're coming to the event. They need to know why they're coming to the event. Because if they don't know, they'll show up, they'll have a good time, they'll maybe get a drink or have a coffee or something, and when they leave, they'll go, nice people, but not for me. It's not for them because they didn't know what to look for. They didn't know what to look for. So if you're inviting, the key to inviting is, yes, get them to commit to the time, the date, the event, but then ask them why they're going to do that, especially if it's a couple of days away. How many times do we have things show up in our life that would cause us to, if we weren't part of the company, if we weren't part of our organizations, we wouldn't show up either. So inviting. Invite them, but then find out why they're going. See, that's world-class mindset. That's world-class prospecting. Why are they coming? Not just, ooh, hey, I got somebody showing up at the event. Have you ever done the network marketing salute? Right? Where are my people? So all that being said, that's inviting. So let me see what's going on here. Somebody. All right. So that's inviting. Just, you got to keep it simple. And when you watch this video, if you want to do any kinds of conversations or anything afterwards, feel free to hit me. Yeah, I'm blessed that I get to do a lot of things. But if we've engaged and we're creating the relationship, I'll do anything I can to help you. So as you were going through this, if there's more detail on something, send me an email, and you can find that on Facebook or Google or any places. All right. So inviting. All right, next step. So what is the next step in your business? Well, isn't that the question we need to be asking everyone in our business? If you're looking to grow your business, wouldn't you ask your upline, hey, listen, what's the next step I need to hit? What's the next activity I need to do? Because, folks, I can promise you this. Your company pays you for 2 things, and 2 things only. They pay you to find customers and gather leaders. Find customers, gather leaders. If you were to look at your business right now, what have you done? Do you have a lot of customers? Congratulations. Have you gathered leaders? If you have done that, outstanding. Because the leaders is what helps you create what's called walk-away income. That's why we're in this business, for the retention, for the residual income that can come in. Residual income can happen with customers, but it gets real fun when it happens with leaders. So, next step, decide. Are you going to be gathering customers, or are you going to be gathering leaders? That's what the next step is. And the activities that you need to do, your company has identified. Your company has put together. Let me get that. So, what do you do to gather leaders? It goes back to the story. You can find leaders locally. You can find leaders internationally. You can find leaders around the corner. You can find customers in all those locations. You need to develop the conversation, the moment, the ability to speak to customers, and then the story to speak to leaders. And that's really what it comes down to. A couple of questions here in the Q&A. Sean, I'm building internationally, but I've lost my leaders. What do I do? Well, folks, if we've ever sponsored anyone and we've lost someone, the real simple answer to that, and I'm kind of nuts and bolts that way, is find some more. I mean, if you don't have them, no, you can't cry over spilt milk. You got to go find some more. Here's what I will tell you: your check starts from you down. From you down. All right. Couple other these I've answered. That one, that one, that one. Okay, most of these we got covered. Awesome. So, folks, there you are. There's a little bit of a training. Thanks for spending 50 minutes or so with me. I appreciate you. If you've got, feel free to share this. Now, this is only going to be up for a little while. I'm creating these for people who are part of Mental Profits, who are part of this community. I'm doing it for everyone, but of course, with any community, I want to keep it so that the community has some advantage, has some value, right? There's that story again. In order to be a part of Mental Profits, in that community, there needs to be some value-added benefits, and some of the value add is that these trainings are going to be private in the backside of the Mental Profits community there. So, thanks for being here today. I wish you great success. I'm looking forward to seeing you very soon at where? The next event. Now this replay is going to be live here in just a little bit, so you'll be able to go to my YouTube page, my Mental Profits YouTube page, and this will be up there. Now it'll only be up for a little while, so if you want your teams to see it, get them to watch it soon, because it'll only be up for a couple of days. Then I'm going to pull it down and put it in the private section of the Mental Profits community. Thanks for being here today. Look forward to seeing you where? Where? At the next event. Till then, I'm Sean G. Murphy, and bye for now.